kind of give the read the bios for the two members that are here today. I certainly appreciate the fact that both Aaron and Taylor have brought an extended family with them. That's awesome to see, and I think that you'll start to hear as part of our presentation the importance of the feeling of family for our organization. And we certainly see this as an initial step to welcoming not only the members but their extended families into our greater Strathroy-Caradoc policing family. I do understand from talking to Finn at the back there that he is in a hurry to get back to school, so we'll try to rush through things as fast as we can. But with that, I'll turn it over to Deputy Chief Cushman. Before we do that, I'll ask both Aaron and Taylor to step forward so that as the deputy is talking about them, for our board, they see and understand who we have here. And I will just say this before Brent gets too far along. Both Taylor and Aaron represent the membership in a way that our recruiting office has been very specific in how we have targeted and looked for people to bring into our organization. Both these members have grown up in this community, have a lot of ties to this community, and we have found to be a very successful recipe for bringing members into our organization, as it brings extra value to the type of policing that we offer, a community-based policing model, and they're at the front and center of that because of those connections, that understanding of how this community is and works and plays, and so we're just so very happy to have them here as part of our organization, our service, and most importantly as part of our family. So with that, Deputy, I'll let you do the first introduction.
Perfect. So it's my pleasure to present Constable Aaron Fonville to the board for presentation of his Constable Police Badge. Constable Fonville was born and raised in Strathroy-Caradoc and is joined here today by his wife Lindsay and children Nora, Theodore, and George. He is also supported here today by his father TJ, his mother Charmaine, and her partner Howard. Constable Fonville is further representation of our service members who are local community members with a long history and extremely strong connection to the place they call home. A community where he developed and fostered important relationships. He attended Niagara College and Fanshawe College, completing an apprenticeship in tool and die. Our recruiters describe Constable Fonville as being motivated, respectful, and a critical thinker who is passionate about community and public service. Prior to joining SCPS, he volunteers with St. Thomas Minor Baseball, which he continues with. He was also a volunteer firefighter with the Strathroy-Caradoc Fire Department from 2008 to 2010. We are excited to have Aaron, Lindsay, Nora, Theodore, and George join our SCPS family, and on behalf of the Police Services Board, the police service members, and our community members, welcome to Strathroy-Caradoc. I was just checking the wallets for money, but seeing all the kids in the room, I don't think there is any. So it is my pleasure to present Constable Taylor Golub to the board for presentation of her police constable badge. Constable Golub was raised in Strathroy-Caradoc from the age of 11 and is joined here today by her parents, Gary and Margarita Ross, and her two oldest sons, Liam and Finn. Constable Golub is a further representation of our service members who are local community members with a long history and extremely strong connection to the place they call home. A community where they attended elementary and high school, developed and fostered important relationships, all the while finding her way through life. She attended Lambton College in Sarnia, earning a diploma in nursing. She has previous work experience as a registered practical nurse from 2014 to 2024. Our recruiters describe Constable Golub as being dedicated, respectful, and empathetic, who is passionate about community and public service. We are excited to have Taylor and her children join our SCPS family. On behalf of the Police Services Board, the police service members, and our community members, welcome you to Strathroy-Caradoc. You guys can come up and take pictures if you want.
Anyone from the audience can come up. For Gary and Charmaine, we are taking resumes. Our IDENT member is off on a mat leave currently, so. Any words from you two?
No, thank you very much.
I don't think that was a question.
All right, so I think at the discretion of the board chair, I think we're going to take 10-15 minutes for photos. So we certainly encourage family to come up, get a photo with your member, your family member, and or anyone else you choose, and celebrate the wonderful recognition. So.
Yeah, Chief, I'm a politician, and there's a microphone in front of me, so I'm gonna take 2 minutes. So I'm Colin Grantham, I'm the mayor, and it always warms my heart when I hear that Chief Campbell and Deputy Chief Cushman are hiring people from the community. I was raised here, so I think that's I'm a Caradoc Township boy, so I think that's very important. But on behalf of the town, welcome aboard, and look forward to long service with Strathroy-Caradoc Police. But again, Chief, when you use the words community, I think that's very important. So thank you to everyone, and thank you for everyone for coming today.
Who wants to go first?
No kidding.
questions.
Okay, we'll get back to business if we're good to go. Thank you for that. It was nice to see new people coming in. So next one, the reading, correction, or approval of minutes for April 15th, 2025 meeting. Do we have a mover and a seconder to approve? Moved by Mayor Grantham, second by Member Hahn. All in favor? All right, perfect. Number 6, review of monthly police reports. We'll receive them for information and vote, and then we can talk about them. Do we have a mover and a seconder to receive those for information? Moved by Member Hahn, second by Mayor Grantham. All in favor? Does the chief want to talk to any of the reports in particular?
Thanks, Chair. I don't have any specific comments, but I'll certainly take any questions from any of the board members.
Any questions for Chief Campbell on those reports, Mayor Grantham?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. Just through you to the chief, always appreciate the reports, but just curious as to where we're at with getting response times. That KPI to me is very important that we get it. So to the chief, just KPI.
Yep, so thanks, Chair, thanks, Mayor, through the Chair, to the Mayor. So there's 2 parts to this answer. We are engaged with the Inspector of Policing. They are undertaking a study of response times from various police services. I believe in the pilot phase there is upwards to 8 services I think they are looking at. So we meet with them in the next couple of weeks where they will come down and sort of review what our processes are so that they have an understanding of what is happening across the province so that they can then start to sort of create more of a standardized approach to what does response times look like. Obviously lots of different sort of things that feed into dispatching in regards to priorities of calls, different sort of geographical, urban, rural sort of breakdowns to getting some consistency in what does response time data actually reveal as far as how quickly people are getting to a call. So that is that's happening. And the inspector has made it very, very clear that this is a information gathering, not an inspection on any of the services that are participating. The second part is we are undergoing a bit of a transformation with our IT. And with that, it has sort of thrown a bit of a delay into us moving to a third-party vendor for analytics. We are looking at a party that is working through the Sarnia Police that offers a very robust analytical approach to call responses and different analytics in regards to our response. And so that has sort of been put on pause as we sort of take on the tougher issues of sort of addressing our IT issues, moving from the in-house municipal service to our own service.
Okay. No, thanks for that, Chief. I just ask that you keep us apprised through the process because it's something during my term here on the board that I'm gonna keep asking for. So I think it's something the public, we talk about, especially in Ward 2 down in the rural areas, about not seeing police. That's one thing to me. Response time will put allay a lot of those questions, and so that's why I'm asking. Thank you.
I have one question, more of a clarification. On the speed sign chart, the one section that dealt with Scotchmere, is that the section that's right by the public school there, Caradoc North?
Yes, so through the chair to the chair, that location is the one out front of Caradoc North Public School.
Any other questions about any of those reports? Yes, Member Hahn?
I had a number, so if we're doing the speed sign and the traffic violation charts, I wondered if the chief could, there's so many charts, and I just wanted a high-level review of that. And before we go to that, I had 2 specific comments. And one was, and you just brought it forward, it's in regards to the budget. And I know at our last meeting, we talked about the contracted IT services and I saw that it's currently the actual, there was a budget of 50,000, and I know that has to be reviewed or revamped, and our actual right now is 57, and I'm assuming, maybe Chief, that it's just to start this process, that there were numerous dollars required to get the contracted services in place. Are you anticipating, maybe if I could ask, and I don't need to know it at this point for this meeting, but maybe if you could review the IT budget and give us your idea of what it may look like at the end of the year.
Absolutely. So through the chair to Member Hunt. I'm going to start with the last question and then sort of work my way back.
Okay.
So in the IT budget, you'll see that there has been a couple of fairly large expenditures applied to that budget line. Those were dealt with some software application pieces that came in very early in the year that related to IT, I guess, contract, like we sort of contracted those services to get, it's not the actual labor of the services, but more of the software application part of the service. So those were applied to the budget. There is some salary dollars that had been earmarked for a civilian position. I think when we put the budget together last year, we sort of straddled the fence of it being a second clerk position, but an option for internal IT position. So we will start to utilize some of those salary dollars for some of the in-house IT work that we are embarking on. We also have leveraged some grant funding for the NG 911 for some of those IT supports. That was also being performed either in-house here at Town Hall or a member who was actually on ground at our service. And so we're looking to leverage some funding in that envelope once the province opens up, hopefully another round of grant funding, because all of that work is tied back to our NG 911 project. So there's kind of three different sort of funding envelopes that we're looking to sort of draw from. And then as we start to prepare for the 2026 budget, you'll see some more clarity about salary lines dedicated specifically for IT.
Okay.
First question regarding the graphs, and I'll start by saying apologizing to the board because this isn't the format that I'm looking to present this. This is the product that it comes with, the software applications with the radar signs that we have deployed around the municipality. We're looking to find something that is a little more concentrated, more of a one-page
Yes.
summary. But I wanted to at least share this information because at the 30,000 foot level, what it's telling you is we have a number of signs deployed around the community. As a sort of review, a lot of them are on the major roadways coming into either Strathroy or Mount Bridges proper. And that's been specifically done because that's where the heavy volume coming into those built up areas come into those communities. So we wanted to get an accurate count of what vehicle counts we are getting on a daily basis. And we wanted to see what the actual traveling or speed limits are, or speed rates are coming into those communities. What this graph, or these graphs are telling us is that the average speed is in and around the posted speed limit. So even though there is a large volume of vehicles, traffic on our roadways, where these signs are located, save and except the one on Scotchmere where it's designated as a 40 zone, the speeds in that particular area are a little bit higher than the 40, but all of the other ones where it's a 50 zone, the average speeds are in and around 55, 60. So kind of in that area that is sort of an acceptable speed. So the signs are are very visible and are very effective in our opinion in how they, in what the data is showing us. But I will sort of try to find a better format that is more condensed and not as voluminous as what this is, because this is a lot of information and it's hard to sort of determine to the novice viewer to see just what exactly this is telling us.
I'm really surprised to hear you saying that in those speed zone areas, it's only like maybe 10 more at max. I would have thought it would have been quite significantly higher. But you're saying no in most of those posted areas. That's good news.
It is, and I'll give you an example. So, and just looking at the first page, so Head Street, we have 2 radar signs on Head Street, one catching southbound traffic, one catching northbound traffic. So from January to April, it shows you sort of the average daily vehicle counts. So for example, on Mondays, the average vehicle count is somewhere around 1,155 vehicles. The average speed is just under 45 kilometers an hour.
Wow. Amazing.
So,
That's good.
and the value again of these signs is they are out 24/7, 365. They don't take days off. They don't call in sick. They are always visible, and it's the effective use of technology to support the role that policing services offer to a community. And again, it's education based is really the primary focus. You know, there's other discussions I'm sure that the board or even council may want to undertake regarding pursuing photo radar, but that's a completely different discussion, probably outside of the mandate of the police service board.
The chart, the traffic violation chart, there was a summary chart. I'm just trying to pull it up too. And would distracted driving, I believe there was a chart there of distracted driving, or is that, where is distracted driving? It's, yes, now I see it. It's on page 53 of the package, and it has zone 1 and zone 2. And I wondered if distracted driving, where would those violations be put forward?
So, sorry, through the chair to Member Hahn, I believe that distracted driving will be caught in the moving violations section.
Oh, is that where?
They'll be found in there. So
Okay.
we haven't pulled that specific offense out in the data, but we've just really named it moving violations.
Okay, because for that 4-month period, there were 30 in zone 1 and 18 in zone 2. And what else would be a moving violation outside of distracted driving?
So again, through the chair to Member Hahn. So it's a fairly wide net. It could involve things as stop sign violations, turns not in safety, failing to yield, any sort of offense where the vehicle movement issues is the offense, as opposed to, say, a document, which would be, say, driving without a license or driving without, proper sort of documentation as far as a requirement.
Yeah, and it's the summary also explains, again, to the mayor's point, zone 2 in the Mount Bridges-Caradoc area, 206 versus the 48 in zone 1. So that's always a good statistic to bring forward also when people say there's not enough police expectations out in zone 2. One further question for the chair, and this is in the uniform crime reporting chart. And I've noticed under that chart in the very first area, it says traffic offense. And then it has the 4th point, traffic escort. Is that a traffic offense? And it hasn't been put, there's not been any numbers in there for the last 4 years. Is that something the police services has to provide information to further? Like, I just don't know why it's listed on that chart if we hardly ever have it, and I don't see an escort as an offense, so I'll let you explain it.
A great question, and again, through the chair to Member Hunt. So a lot of these categories are based on our records management system. So when, in that system, when you are looking for traffic-related activities, there are certain headers that come up, traffic escort being one. Traffic escort is not an offense related activity. It would actually relate to if we were, probably the best example I can give you is the school board is moving a bunch of portables and we provide a traffic escort. So, you know, we're engaged in an activity providing a service on our roadways. So is it something that the board needs to see or probably would want to see? It's a really low-hanging fruit piece. So we could probably modernize maybe what we are looking to report on in regards to enforcement. So certainly in the traffic area, the enforcement is times that our members are creating traffic stops and taking enforcement action on a motorist. Citizen complaints is capturing how many times a resident or a citizen is making a contact to the police service that is generating a traffic incident. It may be someone who calls and says, I've got people in my neighborhood who are not stopping at a three-way stop, or there's cars speeding on my street, or there might be people who are complaining about parking on both sides of the street when there's a no parking sign listed on one side. So those types of calls that we receive, that's how we track those. Traffic hazards, again, that might be reflective of some wear and tear on a roadway, or an issue related to someone seeing a concern with the way a road looks, or something on the roadway that may be impacting how the public may be traveling down that roadway.
Okay.
But I hear what you're asking, and it may be time for us to maybe do a review on what is actually captured in this report.
And you had indicated that this year you were going to review most of the reports being brought forward, and I know you have, as you had brought forward, the IT, which would be doing analytical review. So I'm fine with that. Thank you.
And I am quite excited about when we are able to sort of move into bringing forth the analytics type documentation. I think that the board will be very impressed with what it is revealing about our activities on a daily basis.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you for that. Any other questions, comments, both those reports? We're moving on.
If I may, Chair, just before we close off this portion, and again, Catherine Lockwood was here earlier. We just concluded Police Week last week, and she is fairly new into her position. One of those roles being our media relations, and I thought she did a wonderful job on a daily basis, bringing a different element or a different aspect to the police service during Police Week last week, capturing, one day it was the traffic-related parts of the organization. Another day it was about recruiting. So it was well done, and I think some of the favorable comments we got back from the community was well received.
Perfect. I like the ice bucket challenge as well, and I saw our mayor responded to his call out, so good work. It looked chilly. Okay, moving on, number 7, staff reports. We'll pull these together, 7.1 through 7.3, to receive for information, and we can talk about them. We have a mover and a seconder for that. Move by Mayor Grantham, seconded by Member Hahn. All in favor? Perfect. Again, I'll put it to the chief for any of the members if they have questions or comments about 7.1, 7.2, or 0.3. Go ahead. Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, thank you. Can I ask about 7.3, but I want to explain to the board and the chief and deputy chief why I'm asking the question. Certainly in favor of the chief's attendance, we should do that, but given the local climate today regarding board oversight on
Exactly.
on expense, I'm just gonna ask a couple of questions. So what is the amount of dollars we're talking about, chief, to attend those events? I'm sure they're in the budget, but I just want to.
So through the chair to the mayor, the flight package is $3,500, and then it's a $2,500 accommodations while you're over there. With my role with the OACP, I'm able to expense half of that back to the OACP. So what's that, 7,000 in total? So again, it kind of reverts back to about 3,500 to covered in the budget process or the budget allowance in the administration piece. And again, in anticipation of taking on the OACP role, I had asked for the travel expense issue or item on the admin side to be increased, and I think we had budgeted $8,000
Exactly.
for the budget year of 2025.
And I'm sure you understand why I'm referencing all the climate these days, so I'm not sure what the approval process is for the chief to attend, but I'd like to make a motion that the board, I don't know, authorize the right term, if Councilor Brennan was here, he'd help me with the, endorse the chiefs attending that conference. I'd like to go on record making that motion.
I believe because it's already included in his budget, it doesn't need approval, but we can certainly give our endorsement and,
Yeah.
well, wishes if you like, so.
I'd like to endorse that. Because again, we understand what the approval process is for the chief to attend. I know that's something we need to look at in our policies, but just to ensure that it's clear that the police board did endorse the mayor's expenses, even though it's in the budget.
Do we want to have a seconder for that endorsement? Yeah, Member Hahn?
Yeah.
Sure, it's unanimous, and yeah, best wishes for that conference. Just need to go back 7.2, just to make mention that the police officer appointments under the CSPA, that we've recommended that the board appoint Constable M. Mentone under section 83 sub 4 of the CSPA. Just want to make mention of that for the record. Okay, any other comments for the staff report, 7.1 to 7.3? Yes, Member Hahn?
I had a few too. Definitely, I was going to ask the same question as the mayor. I wanted to ask, and I read the information on especially that FSWC. Thank you for attaching that. That was excellent. And I know that it involves in that July travel. I'm not sure which countries you're going to, but I wouldn't mind maybe asking. I know there's so many travel advisories out to, like the types of countries that I was noting. And is there anything we should be concerned about in regards? Maybe you can explain your countries.
Again, thanks through the chair to Member Hunt. So the flight itinerary has me flying from Toronto to Warsaw, Poland. We spend at least half of the time in Poland, and then there is a flight then to Tel Aviv, Israel.
Yeah, that's the one I was wondering about.
And I've spoken to members from the Friends of Simon Wiesenthal, is the FSWC, and as well as the travel agent, and I haven't had any information regarding any travel advisories or travel limitations. I think when I hear the question, it's very similar to questions I get at home.
Yes.
About
the safety aspect, yeah.
Elements of traveling in Europe, but my understanding is that those two specific areas have not been restricted or have any limitations on any traveling into.
Okay. My other question then was, in regards to, and I'm going to bring this to the deputy chief, Marco Mentone, and he was hired in April, and it says he's an experienced officer. Could you give a little bit more background on his bio?
I most certainly can. So Marco Mentone, he lives in Strathroy with his wife and children. He started his policing career with Peel Regional Police in 2012. He was with them until approximately, I think it was 2016 when he went to the OPP. There he worked in Lambton County at first before coming to Middlesex County. Late last year, he completed a change in profession. He got out of policing, at which point he realized that he missed it and wanted to come back, so he applied to us. We put him through the process, and we're happy to have selected him as an experienced officer.
Any specific specialties that he brings to your police station?
None off the top of my head, like no specialty training that I can think of.
Okay.
Sorry, just to add that one of the areas that his application really, for us, was really valuable was, as the deputy mentioned, he's been in policing just over 13 years. We are very young on our uniform division, so he affords us some comfort in having an experienced member with some acting supervisory role in his previous policing organizations, which is very, very helpful. You know, just at a quick glance, our uniform division is 6 members deep, and I would say if you exclude the supervisors or the sergeants and take the other 5 members, you generally get an average of 2 to 3 years experience. So having someone like Marco come into your organization, you have a supervisor light working on a frontline group with people who are very green behind the ears.
Really pleased to hear that, and I was really impressed also with our first session with the presentations, the badge presentations, hearing that Aaron came from a tool and die background, and Taylor had like 10 years of RPN service, so emergency preparedness, and I thought, very good hires. I was pleased to hear, and especially as the mayor said, and then having them also from this area, so compliments to your hiring. I'm pleased to hear that.
Perfect. Any other questions, comments for the chief? Okay, moving on. 8.1, 2025 chief salary remuneration. Recommendations that we received this for information. Do we have a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by member Hahn, seconded by member Grantham. All in favor? Perfect. Okay, number 9, announcements, inquiries by members. Oh, sorry, member Hahn.
Just a question. It appeared like, I'm fine for the information, that the chief wanted to come to one of our in-camera meetings. Is that correct, or was I misreading that for this item? Or is this an approval?
I believe it's because it's part of the budget and required by the CSPA for him to notify us of his increases, that it doesn't require our approval, but if there is like the discussion wanted, we can add it to a future in-camera meeting.
I was just trying to get the right process and approval.
Yeah, if I may, obviously my personal contract indicates on an annual basis remuneration request. So again, what the report indicates is I'm just looking for that same percentage increase that the collective bargaining agreement affords the uniform members. So I think it would be something that the board would have to approve. for the 2020, it's the 2025 salary, right? So
Sure, yeah, we can put it for a vote for approval. We have a mover and a seconder to approve that remuneration increase. Moved by member Han, seconder member Grantham, all in favor. Moving along, moving on, number 9, announcements, inquiries by members. I'll put it to Mayor Grantham for anything.
Thank you. A reminder that June 3rd to the 5th is the annual spring conference and annual general meeting of the Ontario Association of Police Boards. I believe that's the date.
Yes.
Yep. And then second is a question. I think the chief has more direct communication line than I do. Our police board member, if somebody knows the status of our vacant seat on the police board. As we had today, we almost didn't have quorum, so does anyone know the status of our police board member?
I may put that, ask our advisor Ron if he has any updates.
So the ministry is very slow in making their appointments for detachment boards, so it's definitely a concern. Let me reach out to the appointments people, because yours, have you heard anything on yours?
No, but I have responded twice, just because I wasn't sure the first one came through. They never indicated they'd receive my response.
What I'll do is I'll reach out to the appointments people and I'll get back to you with their response. I'll raise the fact that yours is coming close and Henry's has been vacant for several months now.
Perfect, yeah. I've heard off the record stuff that there have been some background checks and some discussions with individuals, but nothing through official channels yet, so I'm sure we'd all like to get something concrete.
Yeah, that's what I heard also, Matt. Someone from the Caradoc area who had previously been running for a council seat had applied and was going through, but that's been over 2 months.
Yeah.
So
The process is slow and arduous.
Is it the Solgen? I'll send him a text message and tell him to hurry up.
It's not him directly, no. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Member Han, any inquiries or comments?
none at this time.
I have none myself. That being said, we'll move on to in-camera session. The board will move into closed session, discuss the following. Got one item, of course, in accordance with municipalities procedure bylaw. One item pursuant to section 44 sub 2E of the CSPA, and 2 items pursuant to section 44 2 sub B of the CSPA. Do we have a mover and a seconder to move in? Moved by Mayor Grantham, second by Member Han. All in favor? Perfect. We'll just give it a few seconds and we'll do that.
We take a 2-minute
and we're back in open session from our in-camera discussions. Next item is our scheduled meetings. The next scheduled meeting was June 17th. Oh, sorry. First of all, we had a recommendation that the direction in closed session be approved. Can we get a mover and a seconder for that? Moved by member Grantham, second by member Hahn. All in favor? Carry. Sorry about that. Scheduled meetings. There's a discussion June 17th, our next meeting, that due to some scheduling conflicts, that meeting be canceled. And then a discussion about summer meetings. We normally pick one to do due to everybody's busy schedules. Personally, my suggestion would be to have the July meeting and then forego the August meeting. Personally, my schedule works better for that. I'll leave it up to discussion if that works better for everybody else. That way we're not going 3 months without a meeting. We're okay we need to vote that to approve that.
You probably should.
Yeah,
Yep.
okay. So we'll vote, have cancel the June meeting. We'll have July meeting and cancel the August meeting. We have a mover and a second. Moved by member Grantham, second member Hahn. All in favor? Perfect. And then adjournment. Recommendation, May 2025 Police Service Board meeting adjourned at 11:46. Moved by member Mayor Grantham, second by member Hahn. All in favor? Perfect. Thank you very much, everybody. We'll see everybody in July.
Just a point of style.